for this first scramble, you did a Y rotation starting with red front and did this red with white block. So we saw this, and you started from this angle, and you did DL prime to join up this pair, and then D2 to make the rest of the block. Then you rotated a Y prime and did, actually no, before that, you dealt with this pair by doing U2, and then R, U, R prime, U, R, rotated, and then did RY prime F. Now I do not like that first block. I would have probably done the same one, except my solution would have been different. So I don't like rotations, and that was somewhat inefficient. So instead, what I would have done is something like this. So F2, U prime from this angle, and then here I can pair these up at the same time that I'm inserting that in the back, and then that's a more efficient block with no rotation, so that's better. Then for your second block, you solved this dr edge, so ry du ry2 prime, and then you did u prime and solved this pair, so you inserted it here, and then did u prime, stacked them, and then that. Then you did m2 and then solved this pair because you brought this edge up here. For that second block, the solution wasn't all that bad. The only thing I can say is once you see these three pieces together, what you can actually do is split them up and get them ready to insert while you're solving, just like that. And then that sets up this case to a better one. So for your first two blocks, I would say your first block needs to work for efficiency and need to eliminate the rotation. For your second block, your solution was pretty okay, just look to influence more things. Overall, you had quite a few pauses there, but your TPS was good. So I would say try to use more efficient solutions and maybe slow down a bit so that you could be more efficient. So for CMLL, you saw this case. So it's a U with the X, because these two make an X, and you did U2 and this algorithm. Now that's decent, but the one I prefer goes like this. And I think that can be executed a lot faster. For LSC, you did U2 and then U prime, MUM, and then solve this EOLR case. So that's good. And then U2, L edges go in, and then U prime. So that was good. I would have done the same thing, except I would have started with the U prime. So there's not much different there. Yep. So overall, what we saw with that first solve was inefficiencies in first block, look ahead problems during blocks. CMLL, maybe try using the better algorithm, and LSC overall was good, except for that hesitation at the beginning. So here's the second scramble. You did the blue with yellow bottom. That's already solved. You have this pair. So obviously you started with F prime. Then here you got pretty confused because I think you solved the wrong pair. So the pieces were actually here, but you did U prime, R2, U2, R, U prime, B. So I guess you thought it was these two pieces for some reason, and then you paused and didn't know what to do. Then you did R, U2 prime, R, U2 prime, R prime, and then M prime, and solved that. So overall, you were pretty confused there. There was like pauses, and you solved the wrong pair, and then you completely lost the pieces. So my recommendation for that is to completely plan out the whole block before you start turning. So maybe take more inspection and really try to make sure you plan out the whole thing. For this one, I would have done, starting from this script, I would have done R, F prime to bring that up here, and then R2 prime, U2, M prime, pair them in the back, and then B prime. So then for your second block, you paused and you figured out this was solved, and then solved this pair with the U2, R prime, U, R, U prime, M to pair them in the front, and then did U and solve those like that. Then you were left with this pair, so there was a pause again, and you did this. So for this case, you don't actually need to use R moves, and there's a much more efficient way to do it. So you just go pair them in the back and go like that. And there's no reason to pause when this corner is inserted, because you know when you're solving the back pair, you're most likely not going to influence this. So then you just look for the edge and solve away. Then for CMLL, you saw this case, U prime, and then solved it like this. I would have done the same thing. And then for LSC, you just have an arrow, so you did U prime. And then here you did MU2, M prime, U, solve those. And X4C. So I would have done the same thing. Nothing to say about your LSC. So overall, it's your best step. Just keep going ahead with that. CMLL, same thing. Pretty good TPS and recognition. Maybe you can speed up the recognition actually. And once again, for blocks, I would say fix your inefficiencies in the first block by improving inspection and just getting better block building overall. And other than that, I don't like that solution in second block for the first pair, and work on being fluid between the blocks and between pairs. So here's the third and final scramble. This was your best time, and because your first block was good and overall it was your best solution, this one was 46 moves. The others were like 62 and 63 or something. So you saw this blue-orange and this blue-orange. So you solved those with a D2. And then here you did something interesting that I actually really like. So for this pair, I usually just use RUM to solve it. But here you did U prime R, and then since your hand was in this position, you did BU prime B prime. I mean B prime U prime B. And I actually really like that. So nice solution. I wouldn't have done the same thing, but that's better than what I would have done, so I'm going to start using that in my solves. Thank you. Then for your second block, you started with this, so you did R prime U R prime, and then did U prime U prime, and you solved this pair the exact same way you did in the first solve, so once again, you know how to fix that already. And then here, you solved this pair the proper way, which I like. You did M, and then just like that. So what I would have done in this case is something like this. Whenever I see this case, I'm going to do R wide prime U R prime, and now these are set up to a easy pair, and then I can look ahead to that. For CMLL, you did a U and solved this case. You solved it with wide moves, which is unnecessary. You could have just done normal. For LSC, you solved this case like this with MU M prime, and then U M U prime M prime, and that sets up to a skip. Now, I like that you're using EOLR. I think you did it on all three solves there. Well, not the second one because it was just an arrow and it was a bad one. But for this one, what you can actually do is M prime, U prime, M prime. And now this gives you a sort of misoriented LR edges case. And you can go like this. It doesn't give you a skip in this case, but I still think it's a couple moves more efficient. So overall, you can just go back to those tips. First block efficiency, fluid, look ahead throughout. There were more pauses in the second block of this one. Between the pairs and between the blocks. CMLL and LSC are good. Other than that, keep practicing. Good luck. Thanks for watching.